Hello, it's Saturday the 19th of November and this is your Birmingham Weekend News Magazine. I'm here with you at this time every week to take a look at what's going on around our area of Birmingham, Solihull, the Black Country and beyond. Yes, hello again and welcome to the Birmingham News Weekend Magazine. Coming up on today's show, we'll be taking our regular look at what's up on this week's community notice board. Des is joining me for that today. We're going to turn to Carl Jones for his regular look at the silver screen. Then Des will be back to join me for a look ahead to some of his What's On highlights for the coming week. Jason Forrest will join us later on in the show from the Milk Bar for another celebrity chat, and we'll remind ourselves what's been going on around our area too. So it's all within the pages of this week's Weekend Magazine. So then, let's turn to the community notice board, and this is the news that you send to us.
If there's something you'd like us to mention, then please do get in touch, but give us plenty of notice.
Ah, thanks for joining me this week, Des.
That's all right. Hello. Hello. Snuck up on you then.
I know, I wasn't expecting that. If you do want to get in touch with us, then as always, we'll tell you how in a few minutes' time.
OK, preparations are in... See, you've got me at it already.
Oh, you need my teeth.
Preparations are in full swing for the Codsall Christmas Fair on Friday the 2nd of December. The centre of Codsall will be traffic free and there'll be plenty to occupy and amuse the children, including fairground rides, bouncy castles and Santa's Grotto, as well as Mr. Do, the juggler. Plus there'll also be a visit from everybody's favourite footballing mascot, Wolfie.
Do you know, I wish I could juggle. I've got a set of juggling balls, but I just keep dropping them.
Juggle.
Can you?
Yeah.
You have to teach me. Yeah. Now you can take a look around the trade stalls and shops for gifts and maybe find that special little extra to pop in your freezer as well. There'll be 5 outdoor hot food outlets, and for those who prefer to sit whilst eating, Codsall's own eateries will also be open to all.
Live music will include the Salvation Army Band as well as the popular West Midlands band Sun Honey. Wolverhampton folk singer-songwriter Sam Drazy will also be singing to the accompaniment of his guitar, and this year the classical trained singer Alexandra Jane will also be performing on stage. Alexandra has a distinctive style and she supported James Blunt on his moon landing tour. Then
to end the day, there's traditional singing of carols around the tree accompanied by the Salvation Army and led by the choirs of local schools. So it's the Codsall Christmas Fair taking place on the afternoon and evening of Friday the 2nd of December. It's that time of year, they're all coming along now. They're beautiful, aren't they?
All started. As long as they start in December.
Yes, that's the point, yeah.
St Nicholas Church in Codsall is holding their 5th Christmas tree festival from the 9th to the 11th of December. There'll be over 30 trees lavishly decorated by different groups from the village in a wide range of styles. There'll also be a tree of remembrance where special messages for loved ones can be written and hung on the tree. Oh, what a lovely idea.
It does sound nice, doesn't it? Yeah. Now the festival will be opened by Gavin Williamson, the MP, at 2 o'clock on Friday the 9th, and then the Children's Choir of St Nicholas School will perform afterwards. Refreshments, mulled wine, homemade cakes, mince pies. Oh, it's all there. It's all going to be served through the weekend.
So that's the 5th Christmas Tree Festival in Codsall between the 9th and the 11th of December.
Busy in Codsall, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah.
Now, over to Sandwell, and staff at Sandwell Register Office are getting into the Christmas spirit with a craft and food fair. It's taking place at the Register Office in High Street, West Bromwich, on Sunday the 27th of November.
Santa will be paying a visit and children can have their photograph taken with him and get a present for a tenner. There'll also be stalls selling crafts, food and festive gifts, as well as chance to win a wedding ceremony at the registry office.
I went to a wedding ceremony.
Register
office, yeah.
I
went to one there. Yeah, my auntie got married there, yeah. Anyway, you'll need to book to visit Santa or to visit the Sandwell Suite. So you need to email registrars_westbromwich@sandwell.gov.uk just for more information.
Now, a brand new website showcasing the very best that Sandwell has to offer has been launched. Discover Sandwell is packed full of information about living, working, enjoying and exploring the borough.
It includes details about great places to visit, from award-winning green flag parks and nature reserves to historical sites and museums, and from places to shop to places to socialise.
The website also features a special What's On page, yeah, I know all about that, where you can find out what the events and activities taking place place in Sandwell throughout the year, and there are dedicated pages on health and leisure activities as well, plus useful information on education and even starting up a new business.
So it's called Discover Sandwell, and they tell us that it's the best place to find out what a great place it is to live, work and explore. And you'll find it at www.discoversandwell.co.uk.
Now, health experts in Sandwell have launched a new advice magazine aimed at helping expectant parents prepare for the birth of their child. My Pregnancy magazine covers everything from breastfeeding to safe sleeping, local services and healthy eating.
It includes a handy pullout which tracks a baby's development in the womb, plus there's a map of Sandwell and lists the borough's children's centres and locations like libraries which host parent and baby sessions.
Healthy Sandwell has produced the free magazine together with the help from would-be mums and dads in the borough. The My Pregnancy magazine will be given to parents to be at their antenatal appointments, and copies are also available in GP surgeries, children's centres and Sandwell libraries.
Now, another new website has been launched, and this time it's all about the history of West Bromwich. It's supported by the Heritage Lottery Fund, and web designer Paul Lacey, West Bromwich Local History Society, has created the brand new website which features photographs, reminiscences and memorabilia selected from its collections.
The West Bromwich Local History Society website at www.westbromwichhistory.com was launched at a special event at Sandwell Arts Cafe in West Bromwich.
Yeah, the event featured a rare talk from historian Robin Pearson called Pause a Moment for the Memory. He's the well-known former head of West Bromwich Library and author of several photographic anthologies on the area.
The West Bromwich Local History Society was founded in 1999 with a membership of 16 and is now some 80 members, and the Society holds monthly meetings from September to June at All Saints Church Hall on All Saints Way on the first Friday evening of every month.
Yeah, there's a range of speakers with presentations from a broad range of history. So the website again for all of that is www.westbromwichhistory.com.
Local people have voted for 6 Sandwell heroes to be commemorated in the Raise a Glass to a Local Hero project, 100 years on from the Battle of the Somme. History groups nominated 3 First World War heroes from each of Sandwell's 6 towns to be put to a public vote.
The 6 heroes chosen will be commemorated on specially designed beer mats, which will be distributed in pubs across the borough. I kind of like that. It's quite novel, isn't it? Yeah. The poll was organised by Sandwell Council's Libraries and Archives Service as part of the local commemorations of the Battle of the Somme.
The heroes with the most votes in each town were in Albury, Private Albert Barnsley with 54.72% of the vote.
In Rowley Regis, Lance Corporal Sidney Taylor with 38.57% of the vote.
In Smethwick, Private Harry Bodfish, right. Sorry, say that again. Private Harry Bodfish with 47% of the vote.
In Tipton, Nurse Tilly Tate with 67% of the vote.
Wednesbury, Stoker Frank Moulton with 48% of the vote.
And West Bromwich, Private Arnold Slate with 36% of the vote.
You read a short profile of all the heroes nominated at www.sandwell.gov.uk/local heroes.
And Sandwell's Community History and Archive Service is asking people if they have any photos of those heroes. You can call them on 0121 558 2561 or email archives_service@sandwell.gov.uk.
So that's what we found pinned to this week's community notice board.
Have you been sitting there hoping we'd mention something, or do you know of something coming up soon that we ought to be talking about?
Well then, get in touch. But do make sure you let us know in plenty of time.
Yeah, it is important. So how do you get in touch? Well, there are many ways, as we always say, but your best bet is to email us via news@madeinbirmingham.tv.
If social media is your thing, then you can look us up and send us a message at Made in Birmingham TV.
And we'll have some more for you at the same time next week. But before the programme finishes, will you come back a little later and tell us what's on?
I will.
Thank you. See you then. Right, we're going to take a break now. When we come back, Carl will be here with his regular look at the silver screen, and Des will be back to join me for a look ahead to what's on during next week. So I'll see you in a few minutes. Welcome back to the programme with me, Lee Bannister. Now, Des will be joining me shortly for a look ahead to some of the highlights of what's on in our area during the coming week. But first, it's time for a good look at the silver screen. Fresh from his movie slot on the lowdown, here's our movie mogul. It's Carl Jones.
Lights, cameras and action. It's time to take a look at what's hot and maybe what's not in the world of cinema across the West Midlands. And there's no doubt which film everybody's talking about right now and which is packing them in at the box office. That's J.K. Rowling's offering Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. This one's set 60, 70 years before Harry Potter's birth, and it stars Eddie Redmayne as a magician who unleashes some chaos on New York City. Here's everything you need to know about this weekend's big movie.
Lumos Maxima.
Mysterious thing, time.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what?
What you're looking at are memories.
You're an interesting man, Mr. Scamander. It's getting closer. This is a beast.
Whatever it is, it must be stopped.
In Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, you're learning about a part of magical history that's talked about in the Potter books, but you never see. I'm getting a chance to tell that now. In the 1920s, magic developed very differently in America.
Many wizards have suppressed their magic to avoid being persecuted by muggles. They are therefore living in hiding.
Hear my words and heed my warning. Witches live among us.
They're looking to expose wizards and witches.
If they succeed, we will be forced to stay in the shadows forever. And we've both lived in the shadows for too long.
There's strange things going on all over the city. The people behind this are not like you and me.
This is what I wanted to do.
Looking good then, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. But if that's not up your street, other offerings at the box office this week, let's have a look at the top 5. At number 5, it's A Street Cat Named Bob, a really charming true story about a busker and his four-legged friend. Ben Affleck plays the accountant, a very sinister character. That's at number 4. At number 3, Trolls is the big animated film right now with a soundtrack including Justin Timberlake offerings. Number 2 this week, Amy Adams in Arrival, a story of alien connection, also stars Jeremy Renner. And still at number 1 at the box office charts this week in the West Midlands, it's Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, the big Marvel action adventure. I'll leave you this week though with a sneak peek at a movie which has been shot right here in the West Midlands. It's called Crucible of the Vampire, and it makes use of some very rural Shropshire locations. In fact, some of the areas that were filmed for a famous movie called Gone to Earth back in the 1950s. Here's a sneak peek of what it's got in store.
Oh, little bird, keep flying. Right with the morning sun. Oh, what a joy to think of you. Oh, to be free, to be free.
So that's it from me here at the Light Cinema in Walsall this week. Don't forget though, I'm back with you every weekday on the Lowdown Birmingham, bringing you the latest film news from across our region.
So then, thank you to Carl for the film news for this week, and he'll be back on the Lowdown all the way through next week. Somebody else from the Lowdown, it's Des. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fine, how are you?
Yeah, busy. Woo.
Nice new look for you as well.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about what's on this week, some of
Yes.
the highlights coming up. Tell me what's on.
There's some really good things. Now then, this one, Tuesday, Elvis is in the building.
Really?
Yes. Well, actually, not the building, the Genting Arena.
Oh, nice.
He did a thing called If I Can Dream, and what they did was, I think they must have taken the band off, and the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra played on it. So they're actually having this concert where they're having a big screen in the Genting Arena with Elvis on it.
Oh, wow.
And then the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra are actually playing live on stage in sync with the film.
That would be so cool. You could actually go to an Elvis concert.
Yeah, yeah. And also, according to the blurb, Priscilla's going to be there.
Is she?
Well, she says she's going to make an appearance.
Oh, that'd be nice. See, I grew up thinking of her as in Dallas.
Yes.
But
yeah,
when I grew up, I realised
yeah.
that would be really cool, actually, giving it the seal of approval.
Well, Gary reckons he's still working at a chippy in Harborne.
Oh, right, yeah. That's the one that Kirsty McCall knew.
Who knows? Yeah. And also on Tuesday night, Joe Brown. You remember Joe Brown and the Brothers?
I do remember him, yeah.
He's going to be at the Core Theatre in Solihull. That guy is so incredibly talented. He sort of went under the radar a lot of time. People just sort of dismissed him as a bit of a pop thing, but musically, he's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, he never lost it, did he?
No, no, and still, and do you know something? He still looks as young as he did when he first started. It's unbelievable.
Still got the old spiky hair.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like Joe Brown, yeah.
Yeah. Another music thing on Wednesday, Peter Asher. You remember Peter and Gordon?
Oh, yeah, from sort of late 60s.
Yeah, and Jane Asher's brother.
That's right, yeah.
He's teamed up with a guy called Alvin Lee. Now, Alvin Lee is a fantastic guitarist, and he was in a band called Head, Hands and Feet, which actually the keyboard player from Chaz and Dave was in.
Oh, yeah,
in fact, I think Chaz and Dave were both in Heads, Hands and Feet, because they're incredible musicians.
Oh, they've been around for years, haven't they? They
Yeah.
played on a lot of things in the 60s.
Yeah.
Chaz in particular was under Joe Meek for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah. So, you know, great history, musical history. So they're doing this thing at the Jam House, and it's like half music, half chat. And taking, you know, questions from the audience and that.
Good place to do it in the Jam House.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I like that.
So that'd be a good one. Thursday, the Good Food Show starts at the NEC.
Oh, nice.
Now, Gary reckoned, because he was talking to Glyn Purnell the other day, and Glyn was saying, I think he's going to be there. I know Mary Berry's going to be there, and your man who makes the bread. So that, you know, and that runs for 4 days. This week, this coming week, the What's On show comes from the Hotel du Vin.
Oh, very posh.
We took the bar over.
I thought you might.
That was really nice. Lovely place, the Hotel du Vin.
Yeah.
You know, great restaurant as well. But yeah, going back to this, the Good Food Show. In our show, the What's On show, we talk about farmers markets. So I mean, there's loads of farmers markets all around the area. They're usually once a month. So you know, we point out which ones are where. Moseley Market is absolutely unbelievable. There's 60 stalls there.
Really?
60 stalls, and they've got absolutely everything. They do all these street food things. They have a hog roast, ostrich burgers, and evidently zebra burgers.
Really?
Yeah. Don't know what they are, but yeah, worth a try. So yeah, that's and there's lots of different ones. There's King's Norton, there's King's Heath, there's one at the university, there's one at the Mac.
I didn't realise it was so widespread.
Yeah. But look, you know, they're all on different days, so check it out. We'll tell you where they are. Friday, Magic Lantern Festival at the Botanical Gardens. Now this is supposed to be absolutely magical. It's these huge Chinese lanterns, all like, you know, a lot of it obviously Christmas based, but there's like a big trail that goes all the way through the Botanical Gardens, and you follow it round, and in the evening, starts about 7 o'clock, so you can imagine it's going to be, and it's a lot of it's based on Chinese heritage. Yeah, so that'd be lovely.
I do like those sort of things. I mean, there's been a lot of controversy about the Chinese lanterns if they're let off by people in their homes, but this.
Oh, these are huge.
These
are absolutely massive.
They're beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah. What's the other one? There's the Nutcracker is starting on Friday at the Hippodrome. Birmingham Royal Ballet has to be seen. It's just one of the iconic Birmingham-based companies, you know, and you know, you've got to go and see it.
Yeah.
Go and support it. Ballet is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Stan Boardman's on at the Warmley Club on Saturday.
Is he really?
He is.
Oh dear.
Anybody the old-fashioned comedy, Stan Boardman.
I wonder if Des O'Connor will be going along to see him.
And over the weekend, there's some really good local music on. You've got Roy Forbes, who's a great jazz singer. Saturday night, he's at the Blue Piano. He does like a supper club, so it's all cool jazz.
Oh, nice.
Really nice. And then on Sunday afternoon, starting at 3 o'clock, the Brass House on Broad Street, you've got Sea Jam, which is a really cool band. A good mate of mine, Sam Rogers, is a sax player. Absolutely brilliant musicians. And then 4 o'clock, just around the corner at the Prince of Wales, which is behind the ICC.
Oh, I know it, yes.
Yeah, you've got Steve Ajayo's Blues Giants. And again, you know, another fantastic band.
I've been to see a couple of bands in the Prince of Wales, and yeah, it's nice and...
Tight little venue.
But it's great.
Great sound.
Music, yeah. Oh, cool.
So there you go.
Lovely. So you're going to tell us more about that in the lowdown in the week, aren't you?
Yes, we're on every day, 6:30 and 9:30 in the evening, and then on the following morning. We've got it all right now, actually. We got a bit out of sync, but starting next week, we're actually all right. And we tell you lots of interesting things that are coming up. You know, gigs to book for, theatres to book for, all that sort of stuff.
Brilliant.
So check us out there as well.
Thanks, Des.
Okay.
So then, time for a break, and still to come, we'll be visiting the Milk Bar for another Star Chat with Jason. And right after the break, we'll be looking back to see what's been making the news in our area this week. Don't go anywhere. I'll see you in a few minutes. Welcome back to the programme with me, Lee Bannister. Time now for a look back across the week from Birmingham News. First, a heartwarming story of music and creativity enriching the lives of adults living with cerebral palsy. Cerebral Palsy Midlands enlisted the help of a musical tutor to help users of the service develop their ambition of performing live music. From a weekly half-hour session grew a project that has now seen the group record their own improvised tracks and even perform to a live audience. Emily White reports.
With an unusual experimental style sound, the CPM connection is very different to today's mainstream music, yet there is something thrilling in its originality. The members of the band are part of the Cerebral Palsy Midlands Music Therapy Group, led by Matthew Hale.
Came up with the idea, sort of, I just wanted to do some guitar lessons, and I just happened to meet somebody that told me about this place and told me that Gary I just recently had a guitar. It was an electric guitar for Christmas you had, wasn't it? Yeah. And so I came along, just brought an acoustic guitar along, and we just started having little sessions, didn't we? I think it was like Monday mornings originally. And then after that, really, it just started opening up, didn't it? Paul started coming in, playing the electric drums. James, obviously, kept coming in, playing a bit of guitar as well. We had some amplifiers.
Playing the piano.
Yeah, and piano, and then it just grew out of that.
Matt is very passionate about his work and is aiming to take the project further, from simple music therapy sessions to recording compositions and bringing the band to a wider audience.
I've been playing in bands for years, and I've always kind of never shied away from trying to have an element of control over the band, hand signals, gestures, communication. But it comes with trust, you know. If I was just barking orders at people, just telling them that, but it comes with time and trust.
There are other similar centres, but I think Cerebral Palsy Midlands, that we are very unique because we've got quite an organic approach to many things we do, whether it be music, arts, media. You know, sort of we tend to, in this case, Matt is quite a free spirit. He's left to work, he's left to develop. You know, there's no targets, there's no pressures, so it actually all grows quite naturally.
During the music therapy sessions, the band members have shown substantial positive improvements in their mental health and the way they communicate and express themselves. This is Emily White for Birmingham News.
Now, a team of volunteers from Birmingham Penn Museum have been awarded the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service. It comes after a one-year project to improve the museum's exhibition, retail and activity areas. The award was announced as part of the Queen's Birthday Honours list back in June and presented by the Lord Mayor of Birmingham this week. Norma Bartlam went along to have a look.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Lord Mayor of Birmingham officially reopened the Penn Museum in the Jewellery Quarter. It had recently received £175,000 from the Heritage Lottery Fund, and the money was spent on a new entrance, an exhibition area and an improved shop. It was a double celebration because the museum's volunteers were presented with the prestigious Queen's Award for Voluntary Service by the Deputy Lieutenant for the West Midlands.
It's actually considered to be the MBE for volunteers, and only 193 volunteering organisations got it out of thousands submitted.
The Penn Museum is run by the Birmingham Penn Trade Heritage Association, the volunteer-led charity which was established in 1996, and it works to promote and preserve the history and legacy of the steel pen trade in Birmingham. There were once around 100,000 different types of steel pen nibs at the height of the trade, and it was said that 75% of anything that was written down in the world was once written with a pen made in Birmingham.
Well, I'm delighted to be here tonight at the Penn Museum in the Jewellery Quarter, the evening that they've received the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service, which reflects the dedication and commitment of a team of volunteers bringing the heritage of Birmingham to life.
The people here love what they do, all volunteers, and it's great as Lord Mayor to come along and celebrate with them what they've achieved with this wonderful Penn Museum.
So if you've enjoyed what you've seen, why don't you come down to the museum yourself? It's open 6 days a week, including Sundays. Monday is the only day of the week that it's closed. This is Norman Bartlam for Birmingham News at the Penn Museum. It's not as easy as it looks, you know.
Now, a project aiming to help encourage young people to get involved with sport is reaching the halfway point. Matt Cooper has more.
Childhood obesity has been a hot topic recently, and earlier this year the government unveiled its childhood obesity strategy to tackle the issue, with initiatives such as the sugar tax, which comes into force in 2018. But as Birmingham gets ready for the Sports Personality Awards in December, the BBC has partnered up with local government and charities to provide sports equipment to children across Birmingham.
Reclaim Sport is an initiative, partnership between the Council, Sport Birmingham and the BBC. It's running through to the Sports Personality of the Year, which this year is coming from Birmingham. And it's basically an opportunity for people to donate a sports kit that they've used in the past but don't want any longer, but could still be used by others to get them active. And so they can donate this sports kit at 25 locations around the city, and then the partners in this initiative will then distribute it in December to children and young people in order to get them active.
Studies have shown that the barriers to entry on sport and healthy living are aplenty, with sports equipment running into the hundreds of pounds. So getting started is easier said than done.
One of the significant barriers to people becoming active and getting involved is cost, and if we can give people who are confronting that barrier access to kit that other people no longer want, then that should allow them a much easier path to becoming active.
When you're young, I think that's when it's most important to get involved in sports, to kind of know what you're good at and what you're interested in, and to meet more people. So to have the facilities and the equipment and the kit to be able to do that is the best thing, I think.
All kit donated will go towards helping children in the city who wouldn't otherwise have the means or access to get active.
They're located across the city at various locations, so anything that's deposited in these bins will be taken and sorted, and then it will be distributed to local community groups across the city that are in real need of having this kit.
One of the schools participating in Reclaim Sport is St Vincent's Roman Catholic School, where pupils have been donating their old kit.
I know, it's typical, isn't it?
Good. The parents and the children have both got stuck in. They see the effect that sports can have on their children's lives, so they're really encouraged to do it for people that are a bit less fortunate than themselves. So it's been really positive. They brought a lot in. It's been good all around the school.
Perfect.
Now, preparations have been underway in Birmingham for the 16th annual Frankfurt German Christmas Market. The event was officially opened by the Lord Mayor of Birmingham, and it sees millions of visitors due to come in over the coming weeks. Tom Bowen has been along to see the preparations.
For some people, the first screening of the Coca-Cola Christmas advert marks the beginning of the festive period. But for many Brummies, it's the beginning of the Frankfurt German Market. It attracts around 5 million visitors every year, with people coming from all over the country.
The German market and the craft market are a huge boost to the Christmas economy here in Birmingham. It brings people in not only from across the whole of this country, but it brings people in from abroad to see what is the largest German Christmas market outside of Germany and Austria. So it's immensely important to the economy, and it's an opportunity, of course, not only for the people of Birmingham, but for people across the whole country to come and have a slightly different experience of Christmas.
This year marks the 16th anniversary of the market coming to the streets of Birmingham, but the city's relationship with Frankfurt stretches back much further. The two cities were twinned back in 1966, and although that might not have been the best year for relationships between England and Germany, the council are keen to celebrate the 50-year partnership.
Twinning is an opportunity really for not only cultural exchanges and exchanges at the civic level, but it's also opportunities to encourage business relationships between Birmingham and the city of Frankfurt, to grow our trade and to grow our economy. And with the decision taken last June to come out of the European Union, these relationships that we have with European cities are more important than ever.
This year will be the first that the market remains open beyond Christmas, with stalls set to stay open until December the 29th.
It is immensely busy, and that's of course a sign of its success. And what we do is we put in measures to ensure the safe movement of people around the market throughout the period. Health and safety is obviously a primary concern. We don't want anybody to be injured. We want people to come into the city centre, enjoy Christmas here in Birmingham and have a good time.
But what do the people of Birmingham think about the market?
Brilliant, especially for the kids, the youngsters. It's typical. It brings the Christmas festivities with the children, you know what I mean? Brilliant, love it.
I think it's great. It's a great event to bring everyone together. Lots of fun. Obviously, gets you the Christmas spirit. And I think it's kind of an annual event now that everyone in Birmingham looks forward to.
I'm Tom Bowen for Birmingham News.
So then, time for another break. And when we come back, we've got an appointment with Jason in the Milk Bar to see who he's been talking to this week. I'll see you in a few minutes. Welcome back to the final part of today's programme with me, Lee Bannister. Right, now we turn to the Milk Bar with Jason Forrest. Now, as ever, the Milk Bar reflects what's happening in and around our area, often with a focus on the city of Wolverhampton. Now, you can hear it on the radio as a podcast, and now Jason's here each week with one of his guests.
Wolverhampton's Haven Refuge plays host to many a family over Christmas. To tell us more about how you could help, we've got Jade Secker with us. Hello.
Hello.
Now, we've come down to your site on Waterloo Road just to find out a bit more about the work that you do. First of all, how long has the Haven been going?
So we were set up in 1973. Initially to support homeless people, but obviously that sort of developed into one of the main needs that was coming out was domestic abuse, so we sort of adapted and developed with the changes to support mainly as a specialism domestic abuse, but we do still support homelessness as well.
And how many women and children can you host in your sites around the city?
So we have 6 refuges across Wolverhampton. They can hold 63 women and 100 children at any one time, and sadly we are always full.
Often it's not only been physical abuse, but financial and lifestyle abuse as well.
Yeah, I think that's a common misconception that, you know, domestic abuse is just physical. It's not. It's often emotional, financial, all those things that sort of tie in and really make the women and children feel vulnerable and like, you know, they can't survive without their abuser.
And when somebody does present themselves, it may be through their own action or it could be a referral from others.
Yeah, so we do encourage self-referrals from women. We get a lot of calls to our helpline. I think last year we had over 2,200 calls to our helpline, which is just a phenomenal number, really. And yeah, so we will then support them in every which way we can.
And that may be through accommodation, but it could be through other services, such as just counselling to begin with.
Yeah, so we offer a range of services. Obviously, we recognise that accommodation isn't the be-all and end-all of how we support these women. So we have like debt advice, we support them through the court proceedings, financial support, they can apply for grants through us if they've got no recourse to public funds. We have a children and young people's dedicated service, so the list goes on really. We will really try and support them in every way we can.
And every single penny that you take in goes towards providing these services and literally putting a roof over these women and children's heads.
Exactly, yeah, and not just, as I said, not just the Refuge, but to run those additional services as well that often make the difference between them staying and making an independent life for themselves and their children and returning to their abuser.
And although you don't necessarily offer it within your site, you do also help men out who do find themselves in the same sort of situation as well.
Yeah, so we are a specialist supporter for women and children, whereas we do make those referrals onto other agencies for male victims as well, because obviously we do recognise that it's not just women and children that go through that. So we do have good relationships with other agencies that we can refer on to.
So for your 6 busy sites, anyone who is fundraising, however they choose to do it, and as we say, particularly in the run to Christmas, that fund is going to go to a number of different places. So what are the main ways you spend the money?
Again, it's just to make sure that those essential services are ran, the refuges are ran, and to get the women the support that they need so that they can rebuild their lives with their children and make happy memories away from abuse.
And we've been talking prior to this, and Christmas is a big part of that, and some of these families won't really have ever celebrated a Christmas as a family unit.
Yeah, sadly that is the case. Some people, some of the families that we support have never had a proper Christmas before, so Christmas is a really important time for us. We really like to make it that extra special experience, and we couldn't do that without our supporters and our donors that do support us at Christmas.
So that finance is even more important, and it comes down to something like maybe organising a Christmas dinner, and you can do that as cost effectively as possible, which still costs something like around £11 a head.
Yeah, so we've sort of averaged it out at about £11 for a Christmas dinner. We do like full Christmas dinner, all the trimmings, crackers and that kind of thing. So it really is all the festive fun that they really do deserve.
And in a communal environment as well, so that they can really enjoy something of a party.
Yeah, so they all sit down to Christmas dinner together, and you know we have the gifts on the morning, and then the Christmas dinner at like lunchtime, afternoon. So it really does make a lovely day experience for them.
And when it comes to those gifts, again, you're looking for donations because people can help out here as well, can't they? You will put together a grotto over the coming weeks where mothers and kids can go along and choose something from the donated goods to actually provide. So, in effect, a little shop for them so they can do their Christmas shopping in one place.
Exactly, yeah, it's really nice for them to be able to give each other gifts and, as I said, create those happy memories together as they start a new life away from abuse. So the grotto is really there for them to, you know, take what they want and wrap it up themselves for that sort of authentic Christmas experience and really giving them that all-round Christmas glow.
Yeah, a bit of cheer.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
And what sort of things really work for you to go into there? Because traditional seems to be, you know, you get your perfume box set or something like that, some kit toys for the kids, obviously, but what really does help to make that work well for you?
Yeah, as you said, the general Christmas gifts are really lovely. Gift sets and toiletries and pyjamas, new clothing, scarves and hats, and you know, for the kids, toys and chocolates always go down very well. Just, you know, your general Christmas gifts, really. We support children from 0 to 16, so like there really is a range of things that we need and we give out to the children, and you know, the women are really grateful for just having something for Christmas off their children too as well.
So if you're maybe out shopping and it's on 3 for 2, buy the 2 things you need and the third one send it to the Haven.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
So a nice cost-effective way of doing it. And if people do want to find out more about your work, where can they go to?
So they can go to www.havenrefuge.org.uk or check out our Facebook site as well. That's got most up-to-date and news articles and stuff on there as well.
So just search on there. And on the unfortunately more serious side of it, if somebody does feel they need to be referred, how do they get in touch?
We have a 24-hour free helpline from a landline, which is 08000 194 400.
So 08000 194 400, and you can get in touch, talk through whatever needs to be spoken about there, and it is all private and confidential.
Of course it is, yeah.
Well, keep up the good work. Once again, give us that web address so people can find out more.
It's havenrefuge.org.uk.
Well, Jason Decker, thank you.
Thanks, Jason, and we'll have more from the Milk Bar at the same time next week. And of course, you can download and listen to the latest edition of the Milk Bar from the website, which is www.themilkbarpodcast.com.
In this period of remembrance, we often think about our soldiers which fought in First and Second World War, but we often overlook our airmen and sailors. And indeed, there was a ship called HMS Birmingham which fought at Jutland. One ship which survived the battle and with no loss of men was HMS Birmingham. It's thought around 40 of the crew were from the second city. Brummies, through the local newspapers, sent cigarettes and tobacco, and also clothing such as jerseys, mittens and balaclava helmets to the ship. On one occasion, nearly 1,000 books, newspapers and magazines were also sent. A letter from one crew member told of how the gifts cheer us up wonderfully and encourage us in our hour of need. An early hour of need came in August 1914, when HMS Birmingham entered the record books. The city's Lord Mayor received a telegram from the Admiralty stating, "Birmingham will learn with pride that the first German submarine destroyed in the war was sunk today by HMS Birmingham." The Deputy Mayor at the time, Alderman Bowater, replied on behalf of the citizens, "I thank you for the information that HMS Birmingham has distinguished herself." Postcards showing sketches of the occurrence off the Fair Isles were mass-produced, showing the moment of the interception of the enemy vessel. At first disabling the periscope with a well-aimed shot, the U-boat was rammed at a top speed of around 25 miles an hour. The U-boat immediately sank with no survivors. One national newspaper stated, "What marksmanship, what coolness in the face of danger." The nation's confidence in the Navy was thrilled to enthusiasm by the Birmingham. Towards the end of 1916, the crew of HMS Birmingham expressed their gratitude for the support the crew had received from Brummies by presenting the Lord Mayor, Neville Chamberlain, with a shield which the men had won in football tournaments against opposing crews. It became known as the HMS Birmingham Elementary School Shield, and to this day the competition to win the shield still exists, although a newer trophy has replaced the original. Councillor Anita Ward, President of the Birmingham British Legion, presented the 2015 winners, a team from St John Fisher School, with a coveted award at Bodymore Heath. The Education Committee chairman said back in 1916 they would cherish it and do their utmost to keep green the memory of the donors among the young people in the schools of Birmingham. The wartime ship was broken up for scrap in 1931, but the name lives on.
And so then it's time to close the pages of the Birmingham News Weekend magazine for Saturday. I'll be back at the same time tomorrow, and then you can catch more news for Birmingham, the Black Country and Solihull every day of the week with me at 1 o'clock, and then Mike will be here at 6 and 9 in the evening with your latest Birmingham news. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you back here at the same time tomorrow. Try a bit.